The Silent Bell. Once upon a time, in a beautiful kingdom, there stood an ancient bell tower. It had a grand and a majestic bronze bell, but as long as anyone could remember, the bell had never rung. It was said that the bell would only ring for the purest of the souls, marking as an act of true selflessness. Over the centuries, many had tried to make the bell ring, but it remained silent. Its purpose was forgotten. At the edge of the kingdom, there lived a poor farmer whose name was James. James worked endlessly in his barren fields. Though he had very little, James was known for his kindness. Whatever little harvest he got, he shared with the people in need. He also helped the travelers who passed through his land. On the other hand, the king was frustrated by the bell's silence. He declared a challenge. He announced, "Whoever makes the bell ring will be rewarded with riches beyond imagination." After the challenge was announced, people from all walks of life started coming to the bell tower hoping to win the prize. From the knights to the merchants and to the priests, everyone tried, but the bell remained silent. James, the farmer, also heard about the challenge and was curious. He thought to himself, "Perhaps the bell seeks something else." And so he started his way towards the bell tower. On his way, James encountered a poor old woman who was sitting by the roadside. She was looking extremely weak and sad. When James came nearer, she said, "Oh, kind sir, I am lost and hungry. Could you please spare some food and guide me to the nearest village?" James had very little food left with him and he had a long journey ahead. But he could not ignore the old woman's plea. He offered her his last piece of bread and also offered to escort her to the nearest village, even though it delayed his trip. When they reached the village, the old woman said, "Thank you, James." Very few would give up their chance to earn a reward in order to help a stranger. And before James could respond, the old woman vanished magically, leaving behind a golden glow. James was awestruck, but then he continued his journey towards the bell tower. James reached the tower late in the night, and by that time the crowd had already dispersed. He approached the bell without any expectations and placed his hand gently on the surface of the bell. As soon as his fingers touched the bell started to hum softly. And then the bell sound became louder and louder, resonating through the air. Its melody was so pure and beautiful that it brought tears to everyone's eyes. The bell had finally rung. And then the old woman whom James had met on the road appeared magically, revealing herself as the spirit of the bell. She said, "The bell rings not for the wealth or the power, but for the selflessness." James' kindness has shown that even in this world of greed, pure souls still exist. The king bowed down to the spirit and took an oath that he would make sure kindness and selflessness prevailed in his kingdom. And then the king rewarded James with a lot of gold coins and jewels. James was not interested in the riches and he refused, but then, upon insisting, he accepted the reward. From that day onwards, The bell kept on ringing, reminding the kingdom about the power of kindness, selflessness, and humility. The moral of the story is true greatness lies in compassion and selflessness, for these are the qualities that matter far beyond the material riches.